What's up, Guardians, and welcome back to part 2 of my 30,000 subscriber Q&A. And in this video, you're just going to see some gameplay from some solid salvage matches that I've had with some great kill streaks involved using some of these new gunsmith weapons that I picked up today. So hopefully you enjoy the gameplay in the background. And I'm going to carry on. This is part 2. Part 1 was primarily some of these more basic questions that I get asked a whole lot, like, you know, where'd my gamer tag come from? What's my sort of background and upbringing? More personal questions about who I am. So in this part of the video, in this part 2 here, we're gonna hit some more of the, I don't know, more gameplay oriented questions and some other a little bit more detailed questions other than just the standard ones. So hopefully you enjoy the Q&A. If not, if you don't care about what I have to say, that's fine. You can just turn the volume down and watch the gameplay. So first and foremost, Future War Cult, Dead Orbit, or New Monarchy. I'm a Future War Cult fan. Historically, I've preferred their weapons, and I think they have the best looking shaders in the game. That's just my opinion. Look sensitivity and controllers. Get asked a lot of questions about this. I run mostly default or 4 in terms of sensitivity on my controller. I think it's, you know, one of the biggest misconceptions that MLG players play at high sensitivities. That's just not true, honestly. Most of them land between default and 5, and that's where I land as well. In terms of controllers, I have a somewhat unpopular opinion when it comes to scuff controllers and control freaks. I don't like anything that you have to pay for to get what they advertise as better control. And that's how they advertise when they say these, you know, these products will give you better control. And so at that point, it's kind of you know, pay to win in a sense. I think everyone needs to be on equal footing. I think that if you bought the game, then you should be on equal footing with everyone else, and it should not rely on your hardware at all. That's just my opinion. So I don't use them. I don't like them. I don't judge anyone that does. That's just kind of my personal opinion. So another question, how do you cut down on your rage? People ask me that a lot because I'm really even-keeled. First and foremost, I'm not a highly emotional person to begin with. I'm pretty stoic, to be honest. And one of the things, though, that helps me keep my composure and not rage and curse and, you know, break controllers. I have friends who have broken controllers that just kind of blows my mind. But personally, I always just kind of ask myself, what kind of man do I want my kid to see me? You know, what kind of man do I want him to see in me? Because that's the model that I'm setting. I know not all of you are parents, but that's really what motivates me to, you know, keep my composure and keep my mouth clean and all that kind of stuff. So that's my primary motivator. Next question, why sniping and not shotgunning? I don't dislike shotguns. They're fun to use sometimes, but I'm much more of a precision player. See, I like scout rifles and sniper rifles. I enjoy the satisfaction you get from a solid precision kill, personally. So I don't judge shotgunners. I don't think there's anything wrong with shotgunners. Shotguns are in the game. I think that if there's balancing issues, then that's on Bungie's end. That's not a player problem. And shotguns overall right now seem to be a lot better than they have been in the recent past. With some of the nerfs that have come, I think that map design plays into that a lot, honestly. I also think that there's too much special ammo in this game. I think that you end up with fewer primary fights. So sometimes I actually will go into a match and say, alright, I'm only using my primary and my abilities. No heavy, no special. So sometimes I'll do that. I have a lot of fun doing that, just primary only matches, just to kind of give myself a personal challenge. So one of the questions I was asked that I really liked from Jack the DJ, and I think that this stems from the kind of work that I do, but he asked the question, what is the #1 priority for today's youth, like teens and younger? That's a really interesting question. It's not at all related to the game. But my personal opinion, since I work with youth, I work with teens, you know, pretty much every day, I can tell you firsthand that one of the things that jacks kids up the most is poor parenting. You got a lot of flake dads and flake moms out there. You got a lot of passive, hands-off parents out there. And frankly, that just jacks kids up. I think that if people took, you know, parenthood a lot more seriously and really took the time to invest in their kids, raise them up in the right way, I think that that would eliminate a lot of the problems that teens face these days. And talking about hard issues, I know that a lot of teens face some hard stuff, and it's not the kind of stuff that parents really just want to talk about, so they push it off, they ignore it. But you got to be willing to discuss the more difficult things. So, anyways, that's just kind of my take on it. I could talk for hours about that, but that's just kind of a basic, quick response to that question. Another question: what was my first job? I remember the day I got my first job. My dad had been telling me, for weeks, Ryan, you need to go out and get a job. You need to get a job. And I said, okay, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And so one Saturday morning, he walked into my bedroom, and I already had at that time, it was the GameCube. I had my GameCube on. I was playing some Smash Bros. And he just kind of turned it off. And he said, all right, Ryan, by the end of the day, you need to have a job or you're grounded indefinitely. I'm like, crap. So where do you go when you need a job today? Well, you go to McDonald's. That's where you go. So I started out at Mickey D's. I didn't work there long. Funny story, I didn't actually ever quit. I just stopped showing up. I don't recommend doing that, but I was a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, I'm done with this job. So I just stopped going, which is a stupid choice. But they didn't even notice. I never got a phone call, no nothing. So that was kind of bizarre. Anyways, I went from that to working as a waiter at Cracker Barrel, which was like one of the greatest jobs ever. I loved the Cracker Barrel job. I waited on Aretha Franklin once, and she was actually not very nice. She gave me no RESPECT. Moving on. Are KD and other stats important? I think that in competitive games, yes. In Destiny, they can be an indicator of skill, but I don't put a lot of weight in them. In a game like this where there's no competitive lobbies, there's no ranked lobbies, there's no custom matches currently, you can't put a lot of stock in those numbers right now. They can kind of help you figure out what you need to do better, but you can't compare yours apples to apples with someone else and say, my KD is 0.3 higher, therefore I'm a better player. That just doesn't work, not in this game at least. I could talk about that for a long time, but I won't. I will move on. Do you have any personal mottos or inspiring words? I do. I live by a really, really simple motto. It's just 2 words, and people matter. That's it. I live by those 2 words. People matter. So I always take the time to engage in conversation with people, to make people feel like they're important. I will set aside things if I sense that someone really just needs to talk or whatever. I think that that's really, really important, and it gives you a good perspective on things. And last question I got asked pretty frequently is, how would you recommend growing your Twitch or your YouTube channel? And I'm actually going to make a video about that, because there's a whole lot there, probably a solid 10 minutes worth of just basic stuff. So I'm going to make a separate video for that. But I hope you enjoyed the other basic responses to some of the Q&A questions I was asked. And I really enjoyed doing this. This was a lot of fun for me. Hopefully it was fun for you. And really looking forward to the next 30K subscribers, potentially, maybe, if people continue to like my channel and I continue to make solid content, which I plan on doing. So thanks for stopping by, guys, and I'll catch you in the Crucible.